Why do I suddenly feel nervous? Hello friends, and welcome back to another video. And today is a little bit different because today is all about running. Now, I want to preface before I start this video that I am a very beginner runner and I am very slow and I'm really at the start of my running journey. I have just signed up for a half marathon like today, and in 11 weeks I will be doing that. So if you want to follow that journey along, I'm going to be filming pretty much every week, I'm hoping, of my half marathon training journey. But that's where I'm at. I'm at training for my first half marathon. So if you're here expecting anything like from a pro, this video probably isn't for you. However, if you are just starting like right now, wanting to step into running and not necessarily do it for anything other than joy and, you know, to learn a new skill and to do something new for yourself, then this video is perfect for you. So I started running, let's go back to like my past running experience, which is pretty much minimal, before July of 2023. Before July of 2023, I had ran 2 kilometers once, and that was at the end of a 8-week fitness challenge, and I did it quite well, but I was absolutely tanked, like on the floor, dead. That was when I was maybe I must have been maybe 8 months postpartum with my first daughter. So that was in 2021. That was in 2022, sorry. Then I got pregnant, had another daughter, postpartum again. So then I decided I really wanted to run at the City to Bay here in Adelaide. Also, sorry, welcome. Hi, before I get into it, if you are new, welcome. My name is Kirsty. I'm 27. I live in Adelaide in Australia with my gorgeous little family. As I've mentioned, I have 2 little daughters. Harper is now 2.5 and Marley turns 1 this week, so crazy times. And I basically vlog my life. I do a lot of like food, fitness, reading, mum, content, all of that. Obviously, if you're here watching this video, you're here for the run content, and I'm going to be making more and more of that for the next 11 weeks as well, which is so fun. I also run a small business. I am a travel agent by like trade, I guess, and have recently gone out on my own, and I just run my own little agency, which is fun. It's been super busy, but so much fun. I married my high school sweetheart Hayden, and he's just the best. So that's me. And yeah, so if you are just joining me now, welcome. Or if you are someone who watches all of my videos, thank you so much for always being here. I appreciate you guys so much, and I feel so lucky for the little community here I have on this tiny little corner of the internet. It's really special. So yeah, 2022, I ran 2K, absolutely died. Like literally thought I was gonna die. I was like, oh my gosh, I'm not a runner. I've never been a runner. I'm not gonna be a runner. Like that's where my mindset has always been when it's come to running. I'm just not a runner. I don't understand why anyone would wanna like be puffed out for a long time, has always been my mindset. It turns out not only am I one of those people, but that you can actually run without being puffed out the whole time and actually being able to breathe quite manageably, and it can be super therapeutic and super enjoyable and super relaxing and super motivating and just so many things. And there's also just a beautiful community of runners out there these days, and it's so cool. So yeah, then in July I decided I really want to run the City to Bay. My best friend Sammy also had the same goal, which was super helpful. She had a knee reconstruction the year before, and I obviously had my second baby who was overdue. She was big. My body changed a lot. My body had a lot of recovering to do. There was a lot going on, and we basically said to ourselves like, yep, we're gonna do it. Let's do it. I went in with no real running experience. I just wanted to run a little bit further every week. My aim was to get 2 to 3 runs in a week, and for the most part that happened, but I did hurt my back in the August. I think it was like 6 weeks before the race. I pulled a disc in my back doing a deadlift. So at that point I was also doing netball. I was doing HIIT circuits, like conditioning classes and strength sessions, then trying to fit runs in between. And it went really well. Like I still remember so clearly, I filmed it doing my first ever 10K, and like at 5K I was like, I don't think I can do this. I feel okay, but I can't imagine doing that again. Like that's so hard. And then I got there and I got to my 10K, and I was so proud of myself. Like, oh, it's still maybe one of my favorite videos ever, because I just love looking back and seeing how much I pushed on and like how proud I was of myself. Yeah, up until from the July till September 17th was the City to Bay. And yeah, I just did like a few runs a week, and I just tried to increase by 1 kilometer each week was what I did, which kind of worked like enough. And then I would do a couple smaller runs as well. So I would do like a 3K, 2.5K, 5K, and then once a week I would try and do like a long run, which was then like my longest one of the week. And each week I had got to like 7, and then I actually skipped 8 and like pushed to 9, and then I pushed to 10, and the city today was a few weeks later. But I didn't really have much guidance, and you know what, I think that's fine when you're starting out running. I don't think you necessarily need to go in with like a running plan or structure or anything. Just run a few times a week, 2 to 3 times a week. Do like a chill run, do a longer run, you know, like there doesn't need to be any pressure on you running. Now, when I was starting as well, I didn't really care much about my pace, which I think is really good. I think the aim of the game in running is to run slowly, and you'll hear this from anyone who discusses running. Everyone ever says like, you need to start slow to get fast. It's about how much time you spend on your feet as opposed to how far you are going in a certain speed, and it's about how far you are going, not about how fast you're doing it. Because the longer you run, even if you're going so slow, if you run for 30 minutes, you're building that muscle and building that endurance in your body, and your body is learning how to run for longer. Then if you run for 45 minutes, your body is going to struggle again, and it's going to work harder, and it's going to get stronger and fitter, and your cardiovascular system is going to get better. But if you're doing that at an 8.5 minute pace, like it doesn't matter if you're only doing 4 kilometers in that 45 minutes. Like if you're doing the running movement and you are doing it for 45 minutes, your body is doing so much in the background. Even if it feels like, oh, I'm so slow, that's so shit, it's actually great if you're running for that long non-stop. Oh, someone's walking past my cabin. I'm currently on like a holiday kind of, which is why this weird background. I'm visiting we're up where my husband works because he works away, so we're up here. But yeah, so I think just remembering that it's not about speed, it's just about how long you're running for. And if you can only run for a minute, that's fine. Do 1 minute on, 1 minute off, 1 minute on, 1 minute off. Then the next week do 1 minute on, 30 seconds off, 1 minute on, 30 seconds off. As long as you're building every week, you're gonna get fitter and you're gonna get better, and you're gonna be able to feel it so quickly. I think people can improve, and I mean this from myself as well, like you can improve so much quicker than you realize, because your cardiovascular system is so smart and it just learns, and your body just gets stronger and fitter. And if you're doing other training as well, that's gonna complement it generally. Like I love doing my strength sessions. I am now doing very running specific strength program to make sure that I'm doing the right things to help my muscles. But overall, doing extra exercises that are going to strengthen your body at the same time as doing running is awesome. Pilates apparently is really good when doing running as well, to get all of those small muscle groups. I do a lot of stretching on the Pilates reformer. Love it. So yeah, a couple of things I guess for someone who is new to running or has not even ran yet, like if you haven't even gone out for your first run and you're wanting to run in 2024, here's my top tips. Go slow. Just literally get out and run. You don't have to think about it. Even if that is just for a minute at a time, and then rest until your heart rate's better. Run for a minute, rest, run for a minute, rest. It doesn't actually matter. If you are getting out there and you're running and you're enjoying it, that's the dream. And the slower you go, the easier it'll be on your lungs. Like you don't actually want your lungs to be dying, like to be on fire. And you know that like when you get it in your chest and it's almost like burning but like frozen, like that weird, like you don't want that when you're running. That means you're pushing yourself too hard. So if you need to slow down more, it's okay. It doesn't actually matter. We don't need to be running at the speeds of all these people on TikTok who have probably been running for years and years, who are doing 5 minute paces. You don't have to do that. I don't do that. My pace is like 7.5 minutes usually. And yeah, I'm slow. Who friggin' cares? Like no one cares what other people are doing. So don't get caught up on your pacing. Don't even think about it, to be honest. Especially if you're just starting out, like just run to run. And eventually, you know, when you one day hit that 5K, you'll have a benchmark time that you've done that in. And then if you just want to get that quicker, just keep doing them, you know? I also think getting a good pair of running shoes is like pretty vital. But don't just buy what other people have, because it's not going to be right for your foot. I think you need to go into like Athlete's Foot, walk on their little treadmill thing, and they'll tell you what's right for your type. I've seen a lot of people online buying the wrong things and then having to return them because they hurt their feet, because we all are built so differently. Like we have different arches, different foot widths, like there's so many things that go into it, and I think getting fitted for a shoe is super important. I wear the Keanu Gel 29 and I like them, but I think I'm going to have to find some different ones because I seem to still be getting blisters, and I've been using them for months now. So I think they're not just because I've worn them in, like, do you know what I mean? So yeah, I think a good pair of running shoes is super important, and I think it'll make a really big difference to how you can run, and it'll help prevent injury and will just make it more comfortable. I also think finding a route that you really like. If you're just running around your neighborhood and there's nothing pleasurable, then it's probably not going to be as fun. I like running by the beach. I also generally at the moment, whilst it's been so hot, I've been doing a lot of my runs on the treadmills, and I've been watching YouTube videos whilst I do it. So a lot of my runs, I've been then watching run content. For some really good run content, I would recommend Connor Kathleen. I love her, like her marathon, like half marathon training videos. She also has a couple on like running tips and like what's in her running kit and stuff like that. And also Holly B Fitness, who is a UK YouTuber who now lives in LA, but she is really good too. She only started running a couple years ago and has done like a bunch of half marathons, 2 marathons. Like she's super impressive. And I do struggle a little bit because she is quite fast. She doesn't think she is, but like compared to me, she is quite fast. And so I've got to remind myself to not worry about her pacing. But as far as like motivation, it's awesome. Like it's so cool seeing people who didn't run a few years ago then running like marathons. Like how cool is that? So yeah, that's a couple of things that I think I found really helpful. I got a couple more questions, but I'm a bit worried that I've lost them. Yeah, I literally don't have them anymore. Whoa, Taylor Swift just dropped that she's bringing out a new album. Everyone thought it was going to be Reputation Taylor's version, and it's not. Horse Fair in Love and Poetry, new album, The Tortured Poets Department, out April 19th. I'm sorry, that's not what I was there for. Very off topic of me. But yeah, I just think getting out and running, whether that's for 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 1 minute, anything is a good start. When I then started running for like training for the City to Bay, my first try, I was a lot fitter by this point than what I had been previously in general. And I went super slow and I did 3.5 kilometers and I was absolutely so stoked. Like I was so excited. I was so proud of myself, and I get that feeling every time I do a longer distance, and it's so cool. Like running can be so rewarding. Oh my gosh, it's the best feeling ever. And even just now in my running program, I've been doing a 10-kilometer running program the last 5 weeks since the start of the year, basically, because I wanted to improve my 10K till I found a half marathon that I wanted to sign up for. So I've been doing that, and it's felt so good to like run and not be dying, because you shouldn't be puffed out. Like a little bit puffed obviously, but your heart rate should be staying low and the speed will come eventually. Like the longer you run for, the more fit you get, the more you can push your body, and your heart rate will still stay down. That's what I keep getting told anyway. So I guess TBA on that for if my speed improves. I do have like a bit of a goal that I would love to do the half marathon in, so I guess we'll see what happens there. But yeah, I just think get out and run. Oh, also headphones are very important. I honestly just use AirPods at the moment and they're totally fine. I do think I'm going to upgrade to shocks at some point, but how I'm going running at the moment, it's totally fine. Also, an Apple Watch is totally fine to start with. I feel like there's a lot that gets sold to us online at the moment. Like you have to have the best stuff and have to have all these things to make running like more comfortable and easier, and I totally get that. But you don't have to go out and buy all of these things to start running and enjoy running. And once you've been running for a few months, maybe you do want to start upgrading your kit a little bit, but just run to run and enjoy it, and start really slow and start really small. And just even if you want to start with a little running program, I use the app Runner and they have a 0 to 5 kilometer program. I actually just got one of my friends onto it and she's loving it. I think it starts the first week because she said she's running 3 runs a week. I think she's doing, it's like 1 minute on, 1 minute off, or 1 minute on, 30 seconds off, or something like that. And then it bumps up to like running 3 minutes and then 5 minutes, and eventually, like obviously it just changes, and eventually she'll be running a 5K, which is just so cool. And she's a complete beginner. The only thing she's got is a good pair of shoes. And that's what I mentioned to her. I also find currently for my shortish runs, sports bras don't matter too much yet. I think maybe when I hit more like 12, 14, 16 kilometers more regularly, maybe then I'll need better clothing. However, I pretty much run in either my Lululemon Aligns or my Lululemon Fast and Free leggings. I run in either my Lorna Jane maternity sports bra still. That's the most supportive sports bra I have. Or I use a Gymshark crossover one, which has been fine. I have pretty big boobs, but it feels supportive enough. And I've just been wearing crop tops at the moment, like racer back sort of singlet tops. I will at some point soon be getting a vest, mainly because I get really thirsty, and so on an outdoor run I struggle a lot with being thirsty, so I want to be able to bring some fluids with me. And again, like the longer I run, I want to be able to then supplement and like have some gels or have some electrolytes or have hydrolyte or whatever. Like I want to be able to be replenishing that, because that's one thing with running is like you're putting your body under a lot of stress, even though it feels like really nice and relaxing. Like you're doing doing a lot and your body's doing so much for you that you need to be replenishing as you go. And I think I've hit the point now where I need to start doing that when I go for runs that are longer. I can pretty much do like 10k fine without needing anything like that, but that's on the treadmill, so I've got actually my water the whole time and can have my water. So I think I'm gonna need a vest so that I can carry water, and maybe start doing like a hydrolyte in one of them, like have a hydrolyte and a water, so that I can be replenishing my electrolytes more when I'm running, because I think that's where I struggle when it gets to a longer distance. My muscles are fine, I don't feel overly fatigued or like tapped out, but my mouth gets so dry and like cotton mouthy, and it's horrible. So that is something I'm looking into. Like, as I said, I'm so early on in my running journey that you guys are getting this video at kind of a really cool point that I'm gonna look back at some point. But like, I haven't even ran a half marathon yet. My max is 12k and it took me like an hour and 25 minutes or something. Oh yeah, I didn't even mention, after I finished my 12k in September, I then got the yips. So I didn't really run much again for the rest of the year. I did a few 5Ks, and other than that, I was terrified because I thought that absolutely killed me. I'm never gonna be able to beat that. At the start, I was like, I'm gonna do a half marathon in December. Yeah, we're gonna do it. I'm gonna keep this momentum going. And then I did a 5K a few days later, and I was like, I'm tanked. And like, my feet were full of blisters because I was in the wrong shoe. I was absolutely tanked. I remember finishing and being so dead and like so exhausted for the rest of the day, whereas now I can do like an 8, 9, 10 kilometer run and feel fine for the rest of the day. Like, I did 8k this morning and I wouldn't even know. So yeah, I had the yips from like September until basically December, and then I'm pretty much have started fresh in January 2024. So yeah, there's that to note as well. It's not like I started in July and I've been running consistently since July. Once September City to Bay had finished, I basically had the yips and was scared to run, and I did, yeah, just a few runs here and there, and like really just spooked myself out of it. And then this year I was like, no, it's time to get a training program. I'm gonna run a half marathon. We're gonna do this year. So if you are also either just starting your running journey, if you're gonna run a half marathon this year, if you're gonna run like a 12k fun run, I know like Sydney have the 14k City to Surf, which is like around the same time as the Adelaide City to Bay. I think it's the week before or 2 weeks before. Like, if you're wanting to do something like that, just do it, because it feels so good and it's so rewarding. Like, finishing the City to Bay was like the biggest achievement I have ever done run wise, and I felt so proud of myself, and then got the yips and was too scared to do anything else. So I think running a half marathon is going to be just like the most liberating thing ever. So yeah, if you want to follow along for the rest of my journey, I'm gonna try my hardest to document it on TikTok and Instagram Reels as well as on YouTube, but we'll see how I go. I get a little bit nervous posting on the short form content side of things, but I really want to, and I think it'll be really beneficial, and I'm just gonna swallow my pride and just do it. So yeah, I am very excited. Let me know where you're at in your running journey. I would love to then follow along with you guys as well and bring you along my journey too, and we can all just become runners. How wild. Someone who's always said, I can never be a runner, I'm just not a runner, blah blah blah, blah blah blah. I'm gonna run a half marathon then. Wild. Okay, that is enough blabbering on from me. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope you found it insightful in some way or helpful in a little way. If you have any other questions, I feel like there's probably heaps that I missed because I really just freeballed this and like did not really plan anything out. So if you have any questions, pop them down below and I'll answer them all, I promise. And I'll see you in my next video, which will be very, very soon.